Jagrada. In the end, perhaps the most spiritual of all words is the word done. That's very deep stuff, done. When you're done, you're done. What does that mean? It cuts through everything. It is the essence of deep spirituality. Right now, to understand done, you have to understand not done. And we are not done. What does it mean you're not done? Done with what? Done with everything, anything. We're very busy. That's what we are, busy. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, if we manage to fall asleep, even in our dreams, we're very busy. Freud says the most basic dream is a wish fulfillment dream. We're very busy. We're not done. We have wishes we want to fulfill. We want things we want to experience. We have people we want to meet, lovers we want to love, finances we want to achieve. We have so much. And it keeps the mind extremely active, and it keeps the heart extremely active. How active? A normal human being, and we all are, the mind and the heart are so active that we spend the vast majority of the experience of our life experiencing mind and experiencing heart instead of experiencing life. Even when we're out here awake, we're thinking of what we want, what we don't want, what we hope, what we dream. We're looking, we're analyzing. Our consciousness, awareness of being, is inundated and saturated with thoughts and with feelings. So, because of this, we're busy. That's the right word. Busy is the opposite of done. But busy doing what? That's what's so beautiful. Nobody steps back. They're so busy. I'm late for a very important date. Right? Where are you going? Why are you running around like a maniac? Where are you going? And eventually you realize, nowhere. But I'm trying to get there. You're not going anywhere. What you're doing, if you dare to look at it, and nobody does, is it's very simple. You're not okay. Inside, you're not okay. You're not happy with the way things are. You're not satisfied, contented. There's not a sense of complete well-being inside of our being. That's for sure. Therefore, what we are busy doing all the time is trying to fix that. We're trying to achieve a state of well-being. Call it love, call it peace, call it God, I don't know what you want to call it whatever you want. You want to feel good. That's the most basic of all things. You want to feel whole. You want to feel contented. You want to feel that everything's right. You want to feel that you've reached a state that you're looking for. I don't have to define it for you. You've been looking for it your entire life. It is what's missing that keeps you running. And so what a human being does is run after this. Run after a state of well-being. The problem is, where we run is outside of ourselves. We run toward achieving things. We run toward getting things. We run toward doing things. We run toward saying things. We run toward writing things. We just run. Run around like chickens with our heads cut off, trying to find what needs to be a certain way outside, people, places, and things, in order for us to be okay, in order for there to be a state of contentment. We don't ever think of it that rationally, because if you did, you wouldn't do 99% of the things you're doing. Because if somebody asked you, how exactly is that going to create a good state of well-being, you'd look at them like, I don't know, but I don't have time to talk about it. I never thought about it. What are you doing? This is what I need to get. I need a boat. How exactly is a boat, yacht thing, going to make you have a state of well-being inside of yourself? Well, I don't know. I saw in a movie it did to somebody. Well, I always thought it would. I always dreamt that it would. And then we just run around. How is traveling to different places? People want to see the planet and go to mountains and go to ashrams and just want to do things. Why? Because we're not okay. And that's the honest answer. That's why you want to do things. Because you're not okay. I'll prove it to you. I will put you in the presence of someone that you are so in love with. I mean, so absolutely, totally in love with. That to be in their presence, you almost lose consciousness. Your heart goes blown so far open that all this love starts saturating and inundating you. You go into a state of ecstasy. Did you want to go to Hawaii? You want to come down and go to Hawaii? You want to go to an ashram? And go to meet a guru? What do you want to do? A being in that state didn't even hear you ask the question. And if they did, they say, leave me alone. I finally have achieved what I'm looking for. There's this beauty oh my God, leave me alone. But that's not what we're doing. We are looking outside for that which is inside. It's the most amazing thing. So that's what it means to not be done. Not taking anything away. You just have to be willing to talk about it. You're not done when you're not okay. And you're trying to be okay. And then the question becomes, how do you try to be okay? I could give you a list. You give me a list. I need more money. I need a bigger house. I need to lose some weight. I need to look younger. I need to not age. I don't want to get gray hairs and so on. I need to find someone really special. I need these things to be a certain way in order for me to be okay. Very good. You've decided that. And now you're going to be very, very busy for the rest of your life. Trying to decide. There's two things you're trying to decide at all times. One, what will make me okay? Two, how do I get it? I really lied. There's really four things. One, what will make me okay? How will I get it? Two, what will make me not okay? How do I avoid it? Those four things, if you would dare to look at them, make up your entire thought patterns and the entire direction of your life at all times. You're always trying to figure out, what do I need and how do I get it? What do I need to avoid and how do I avoid it? All right? There you go. So that's what it means to not be done. What kind of life does that lead to if that's what you're doing? And it is what you're doing. It leads to a life, one, where it's hard to make decisions. Why? Because you're trying to decide. I'm going to go very slow. People have trouble with decisions, don't they? I have a tough decision to make. Here's your tough decision. What you're really trying to decide is, what do I need that will make me okay, and how do I get it? Come to me with any decision you need to make, any that you think is worth pondering over and worrying about, and I'm telling you that's what you're pondering over. Will this make me okay? And how do I make it happen? Which of these will make me more okay? And how do I make sure they happen? That's the only decision you've ever made. When you try to put on 3 blouses and stand before the mirror and look at them, you're not trying to decide which blouse to buy. You're trying to decide which blouse will make me okay. You don't care about the blouse. You care about being okay. And somehow your mind, as brilliant as it is, has figured out a relationship between you being okay and that piece of cloth that's hanging on your body, hasn't it? I don't know, whatever your mind said, your mind says a different thing than her mind. That's why you wear different clothes. Everybody's mind makes up a different story about what will make them okay and a different story about how to get it. So a spiritual being looks at this and realizes, that is what I've been doing my whole life, every minute since I was a child, is trying to decide what will make me okay and trying to get it, deciding what I don't want and trying to make it not happen. And yet I've never, ever, ever reached a state of total well-being that has lasted any length of time I'd like to discuss. And so I like to look at you and just say, at what point do you understand it doesn't work? At what point of your whole life doing the same thing, because you are doing the same thing every minute. You just change what it is you think will make you okay. Do you understand that? It used to be Barbie, it used to be a toy, and now it's a this or a car. It just changes what your mind says will make you okay. And it changes how you go about getting it. But you get to a point eventually where you just look at it and you say, I don't understand. I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm not okay. How do you know you're not okay? I'm still doing it. That's how you know you're not okay. Because every moment, if you watch your mind, it is trying to figure out what will make you happier. What should you eat? What should you buy? What should you wear? Where should you go on your vacation? Why are you doing all those things? Because you think they will make you okay. If you have more money, you'll be okay. If you find somebody, you'll be okay. If you get divorced and marry somebody else, you'll be okay. If you have another child, you'll be okay. It's just deciding what will make me okay, and then it's trying to decide what to do about it. And you just get to a point eventually where you realize, well, there's nothing wrong with that, nothing, except for one thing, one little thing. It doesn't work. It's never made me okay. Why am I doing this? Why am I continuing to do this if it doesn't work? And I know it doesn't work because I'm not in the state I want to be in, and I've only had it for billions of a second. Very few people have ever been contented, totally contented, where the mind was not telling them they needed something or didn't need something, or that they were afraid of something or wanted something for any period of time. Do you understand that? How long have you been in that state where your mind, this is how you can tell you're in the state. Your mind has stopped talking. How often does your mind stop talking? There you go. Right? How do I know that? Because if you watch what it's talking about what do I want and how do I get it? What do I not want and how do I avoid it? I used to ask people a little bit. So your mind perhaps thinks more about what do I want and how do I get it? And right next to your friend, her mind thinks more about what do I not want and how do I avoid it? Really, they literally are more that way or another. There's no difference. They're both completely discontented, driving you crazy. But there are that, and at different times of your life, you've had one more than the other. But in general, you have both, and they go on continuously. And some people ask me, I write about the voice all the time in there, why does it talk so much? That's why. It talks that much because you went to the voice and said, oh, mind, brilliant, genius, oh, great computer, I'm not okay. What needs to happen for me to be okay? You don't realize that, but you did. You hired your mind to think for you. And so your mind is now busy constantly. I wish you would just watch it for a day. It's just constantly trying to figure out whether things are the way you want them to be or not the way you want them to be, or what could hurt you, or what could make you better, and how to get it, and what to do, and should you have said this, and you shouldn't have said this. Why? Ever walk away from a conversation and worry about what you said? Why would you do that? Because the purpose of the conversation was to be okay. And you're concerned that you said something that didn't work for the purpose. Maybe you said something the person doesn't respect you. Maybe you said something the person doesn't like you anymore. Maybe you said something you won't get the love that you need. All of it is founded upon what I'm talking about. That you are not okay, you are trying to be okay, and you have hired your mind in order to figure out how to do that. And your mind is constantly telling you what to do. It's a burden. It's a tremendous burden to carry. And you're going to carry it your entire life unless you do something. Your parents still carry it. Your grandparents still carry it. They just carry it about something else. If you end up in assisted living, you'll do things about that. You'll just do it about wherever you are, unless you do something about this. And so spirituality, we're moving toward done. That's what not done looks like. And now we know what we're not done with. We're not done with not being okay and trying to do something about it. Whew. God, that's very simple. That's the root. I'm not okay. Like if somebody asked you, what'd you do today? Try to be okay. You know what you did today? Try to be okay. Did you brush your hair? Why? You know why, right? Did you dress a certain way? Drive a certain way? Did you try to get to work on time? Beep your rush and then worry about the train stopping you so you'd be late. Why? Because I'm trying to be okay. And so I need things to happen that will help me be okay, and I need things not to happen that will keep me from being okay. And I'm in here like, always pushing, always willing, always fighting, always struggling to try to be okay. And when I say try to be okay, it means either some positive thing or avoid the negative thing. Either way, up the scale. I'm trying to go away from negative and trying to go toward positive. In essence, more positive. Lower negative is more positive. Now, do you admit that's what you're doing all day? Right? Who is willing to look at that? And if somebody said to you, what'd you do today? I tried to be okay. What'd you do last week? I tried to be okay. Now, if I ask you how, that's a different story. Oh, I went on vacation. Oh, I tried to work at night to get more money. Oh, I rebalanced my books. Oh, I refinanced the house. Why? Every single thing. I worked out more at the gym. Why? Everything is to try to be okay. What'd you do this year? That's what I did. I just tried different ways. So that's what it means to not be done. I'm having a very deep talk with you because this is what we do unless we wake up. That's what it means to not be done. I am not done not being okay and trying to be okay. I am not done with the state of not being okay and using my mind and the world and the circumstances around me to try to be okay. This is the great breakthrough. This is the great difference. Krishna said in the Gita, of many men who strive, and some reach very high, they're all good men, maybe one comes to know me as I really am. This is why. This is why. Because if all you're going to do is change what you think will make you okay, or change how to go about getting it or avoiding it, you're still playing the same game. And that's what people don't see. And as long as you're doing that, you will suffer. And that's what Buddha taught you. That's what desire is. That's the root of desire. I'm not okay, so I need things that will make me be okay. He's talking about the whole act of suffering, the act of carrying a burden, the act of not being okay deep inside. So if you're not okay, then there is this need to be okay. And that need creates your desires. That's what your desire is. What is desire? In the truest sense, desire is the energy that gets created when you're attempting to be okay. Desire is an energy inside of you, isn't it? You feel it. It's power, isn't it? A force. It's just like a vacuum creates a force, because it's not natural. So if you have a vacuum, the forces around it, the energy of the world around it, are going to try and rush into that vacuum. So the vacuum creates force. You inside, if you are not whole, there's a vacuum, there's a lacking. That is not natural. Therefore, it creates the antithesis of itself. It creates that which will attempt to solve itself. And that force that is trying to fill and make up for the lacking inside is desire. So it's what it is. The force that attempts to fill the void, that attempts to fill the lacking. And I don't care how the desire comes out. I mean, yeah, of course, from a social point of view, I do. But from a deep spiritual point of view, seeing it one way, seeing it another. You know, the fact that it's there, it's going to do something. And so now you carry this burden of need, the burden of desire, the burden of, the Bible talks about the fall from the garden, the burden of working by the sweat of your brow to try to be okay. That's how you should look at it. So that state of understanding is that something is missing inside. It is not whole. It does not feel complete. There is a lacking. Therefore, I am busy. It's not I think, therefore I am. I lack, therefore I think. I'm lacking inside, and so it creates all this noise. It creates all this, how do I not be lacking? Look what you do. You don't feel love. If I could measure what that does to you, how many thoughts you're going to have, how many feelings you're going to have, how many relationships you're going to get in, like how many things are going to happen because inside of you there is this sense of lacking. Some people don't feel it. They want to have careers. They don't want to have relationships. Don't think that it's natural. It just comes out different ways. I don't feel whole. I don't feel that people respect me, and I'm not comfortable with that. Not everybody feels that way, but if you feel that way, it's going to drive your thought patterns, isn't it? To try to figure out how to get them to respect me, and then how do I go about doing it, and then the whole action. And how many of these lackings are there? So it is because in the deepest inner state, we are not okay, that it creates this drive, this urge, this impulse, this desire to be okay. You don't have that when you are okay. You only have that when you're not okay. And so now it drives your entire life. It is everything you're doing, everything you're thinking, and so on. We are busy doing. It's the deepest talk you'd ever had. The Gita talks about doing and not doing and being. This deep sense of non-doership. What does that mean? This is where it starts. If you want to understand non-doership, which is very, very deep, and in fact, it's what done is, all right? We're going to always go back to done. So non-doership is not an act of renouncing what you're not supposed to be doing. That's doing. Renouncing is doing. Not doing is doing, and doing is doing. They're the same. You're not done. You're not done. You're either busy doing or busy not doing. That is not what non-doership is. In the deepest sense, there is a state in which you are no longer playing this game at all. How does one go deeper? Until you reach the point, and there's only one point you have to reach, until you reach the point of seeing that doing is not going to get it done. That if you are not okay, employing your mind to figure out how everything around you needs to be for you to be okay, people, places, things, weather, everything needs to be in order for you to be okay, you will never be okay. How could you possibly be okay that way? Watch this. I'm not okay, but I've decided how I'm going to be okay. I've decided how to always be okay. All I need to do is control the weather. Here I made a schedule of how the weather's supposed to be. Different times of the year, different times of the day, temperatures, humidities, et cetera, precipitation. And so I'm turning that in. If it's that way, I'll always be okay. Well, now let's say someone actually came to and said that. And then said, what do you think? Is that a good plan? What would you tell them? And tell them you'll never be okay. Why? I'm not going to talk to you about it. I don't want to talk to you about it. You will never be okay. If that's the way that needs to happen for you to be okay, you'll never be okay. Why? You're not in charge of the weather. But if I what? No, I ain't iffing with you, right? You're not in charge of the weather, and if that's the only way you can be okay, you're not going to be okay. You didn't just do it with the weather. You say, well, that's stupid. What, are you kidding? Because you did do it about the weather. You did say I'll only be okay if it's not too cold today or if it doesn't rain when I want to go camping. You do it about the weather all the time. It's too hot. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's too wet. I can't believe it's raining. I don't want to go out. Like, it's not okay with you that the weather's okay. You can't be okay. But you also do it with every person around you. How they treat you, how they talk to you, how they treat other people, how they talk to other people. You're constantly defining how people need to be in order for you to be okay. And if they're not that way, you're not okay. And you don't just do it with the people's behavior. You literally do it with people's thoughts. That's when I drew the line. When I noticed him doing that in there, I can only be okay if you think a certain way. What did you say? You can only be okay if she thinks a certain way? You can't even be in her head. You don't even know her. How dare you? How dare you even think about what she's thinking? They're her thoughts. They have nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. Get out of there. You don't even have a right to think about it. And you certainly have no control of it. She doesn't even have any control of her thoughts. How are you going to have? You don't have control of your thoughts. She has no control of her thoughts. But you can only be okay if her thoughts are the way you want them to be about you. And about other people, not just about me. I know how she's supposed to be thinking about lots of things, especially if I'm close to her. And so now, by the time you list the weather, plus people's behavior, plus people's thoughts, plus the economy, the stock market, every single thing, you have made up in your mind how it needs to be for you to be okay. Now, you might look at me and say, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Or let's see if it is. Therefore, when things are not the way you want them to be, you don't get upset. You don't ever find your emotions or your state of mind get disturbed when people do things that aren't the way you thought they should, and when people say things that you don't think that should be said, and when you find out that people are thinking things that you didn't think they were thinking, you get upset, don't you? Creates great disturbance. So you reach the point that you understand, I really have done this. I really have defined that the only way I can be okay is if everything out there is the way I want it to be, right? Everything, everybody's thoughts, everything, right? Otherwise I get disturbed and I'm not okay. Well, how about if I say to you, if you couldn't do it with the weather, you probably can't do it with the weather plus everybody else around you and all the world situations and everything in the whole world. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. So you get to the point where you realize this is not going to work. But you don't mean the particular thing you've defined. The entire process of I can't be okay until everything is the way I want it to be. You reach the point where you realize this doesn't work. And that's when you're ready to wake up. Because you can undo this whole thing. You can reach a very, very, very great state, but not that way. What's wrong is not any person, place, or thing. What's wrong is that I'm not okay, and I went outside myself to try to find out how to be okay. I went to the mind and said, how does everybody else need to be for me to be okay? Right there. If you all took notes, I'd make you write that down. You went to the mind and said, how does everything outside of me need to be for me to be okay? That's the folly. So now we've reached the point of seeing what it means to not be done. I'm not done with the process of I don't feel whole and I have a way I need things to be to try and be whole. And all I'm doing is trying to make that happen and trying to figure that out. I'm not done with that process. Okay, you're not done. Now let's talk about done. Whew. Done is serious stuff. Done means I am not going to give up on trying to feel whole. Spirit loves spirit. That is the most intuitive, deep sense of your whole being. I want to be okay. There is a deep, deep-seated inner drive to want to be okay, to want to feel whole, to want to have no problems. They just want to feel complete, light, beautiful, all right? So the way you've been trying to do it, I told you, is to go to the mind and say, oh, mind, how do I be okay? I asked you once before, what does the mind know? It only knows what came in through your senses. It's a computer, and the input that came in are the experiences you've had. And so the mind tries to put together the experiences it's had, including the movies and the books it read, and figure out how everything needs to be for you to be okay. And that's what's going to tell you. That's it. And then you're going to run around like a chicken with your head cut off. All right? The alternative is as follows. All right? The alternative is extremely deep. It is, okay, I'm not okay in here. Why? Wow. That was a very different question. Before it was, I'm not okay in here. What do I do about it? See the difference? What do I do about it drives you outside. Why drives you inside. If you don't know why you're not okay, then you have no business asking, what do I do about it? You can't know what to do until you see what's wrong. So a spiritual being, a deeply spiritual being, the one who has seen that this entire process of what do I do about it just leads them into oblivion of neurosis and worry and tension and struggling and fighting and burden, reach the point that the next time they don't feel okay inside, they're okay with that for a moment. They're okay realizing, this is the root. The Buddhists say, go to the root. The root is I'm not okay, isn't it? Isn't that the cause of the whole thing? I already told you what it'd be like if you were okay. You'd be okay, wouldn't you? Wherever you were, it'd be fun. It'd be great. I love you so much that no matter where we go, I'm having fun. Where do you want to eat? I don't care as long as you're there. If I'm okay, aren't I? All right, how was the food? It was terrible. We both puked. So we did it together, though. You don't care. If you're okay, you don't care. Oh, I love it. If you're okay, you're okay. If you're not okay, you're not okay. So that's where we're going to work. That's where a spiritual being works. So when they feel the not okay, they're actually comfortable with that. Why? That's the root. This is what used to drive my life. Now I'm watching it. I'm aware of it. I'm not freaking out to try and do something about it. I'm remaining conscious and centered so that I can see why I'm not okay. I'm telling you, the crux is, when you are not okay, are you asking why? Or are you asking, what do I do about it? So you just undercut all this, and you see it, and you'll be willing to sit with it, and that's what it takes. That's the price. If you're going to be done with it, you have to be willing to face it. You have to be willing to sit with it. You have to be willing to be aware of it, not run away from it by trying to find things that keep you away from it. So a spiritual being looks at the part of their being when it moves. You don't have to look for it. Don't worry, it comes up to you. That's not okay. And you see it. And you are comfortable with that. You relax in the presence of that. And I told you there's a question that one asks. Why are you not okay? You have a child, a little child, comes home from school, crying, throwing a tantrum, terribly upset. Which parent is a better parent? One, the minute the child comes home and they see the state the child's in, they just get in the car, and they go rushing out to the school to figure out who did what, what's going on out here, how do I... Without anything, the other parent goes to the child, holds him, comforts him to try to find out what is wrong and how can I help you. Which is a better tactic? That's what you need to do with yourself. You're not okay. There's a part that's not okay. It's deep inside and then it's scared. It's not whole. It doesn't feel comfortable. It's not okay. A conscious being learns to hold that part, to sit with that part, to be with that part, so that it can see what's wrong. not the minute they feel something wrong, go running outside to see what to do about it. You see that? Because the one who's out there running around like a maniac, trying to do something about it when they don't even know what's wrong. I already spent my hour on that. You get so lost out there that you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know why you're doing it, right? So instead, you come in here and you see it. All right. If you were able to sit with you and you were to ask, why are you not okay? Why am I not okay? You might hear some deep things, I'm lonely. I'm very insecure. I don't feel good about myself. And before I didn't feel good about myself, so I tried to make you feel good about me. I tried to dress a certain way so you look interested in me, tried to impress you so that would make me feel good about myself. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do anything. So you eventually get to the point where you're in here, you're feeling this, you sit with it, and you ask the deepest of all questions. Why? Why is it like this? And if you will watch, you will see the greatest realization that could exist. You'll see there's not light in here. It's dark. There's hollow spots. There's lacking. When I'm feeling better, it's not lacking. I feel energy. I feel upliftment flowing inside of me. Like literally my heart is lifted up and I feel energy coming through my heart versus my heart is down and I just feel a rock, coldness there. So being okay, you will start to see, I'm going to do it very quickly now, you will start to see that being okay means there's energy in there. I feel insecure unless there's this strength flowing inside of me. Then I can go up and give a talk and I feel stronger. I can be in the presence of you and say things that I want and not be afraid of what you say back. But when I feel this hollowness inside and darkness and lacking inside, then I don't want to say anything. I'm scared to say anything. And you start seeing it's the difference between energy and not energy. Like I said, I'll go very quickly. You have to see it yourself. It can't be something you believe. It has to be something you see. You see because you looked. Right now you're not looking. Now you're looking, she didn't do this and he didn't do this and it rained when it was my... You're blaming everything outside. It has nothing to do with the outside. Nothing. Your mind did that. Your mind linked your not okayness with the outside by saying this will make me okay and this will make me worse because it was trying to figure it out. There is no link between the outside and your inside. Your inner state of being is yours. It's you. You're in there. The mind is just full of the experiences you've had before. And then you link the two together, the outside with the inside, by having all these hopes and dreams and concepts and views and opinions and preferences and all this stuff that's going to make me be okay. And then that's what ran your life. So you come back to the core, you come back to the center, and you will see it is a matter of energy and not energy. When I am experiencing uplifting energy inside of me, I am okay. When I'm experiencing a little bit of energy, I'm a little bit okay. When I'm feeling a lot of energy, I'm totally okay. When there's so much energy that I can't even be in there, it blows me away. It literally blows me away, blows me out. I am blown away. It was the highest experience I ever had in my life. I'll do anything to get back there. That's how okay I am, to understand that. And when I have no energy, I'm totally depressed. I'm suicidal. It's energy levels. It's nothing else. It's energy levels. Your cells, in the end, live off sugar. They live off glucose. That's what ultimately they eat. It's all they can eat. That's what packages their energy. You live off Shakti, energy. All of you. I don't care if you ever heard the word in your life. Glucose. I don't know what that is. Yeah, well, you're still eating it. That's the only thing a cell can break down, the only thing it can digest. That's where its packets of energy come from. You are living off of Shakti, energy. That is what determines whether you're okay or not, is the level of spirit, the level of chi, the level of Shakti that is flowing inside of you. That is what a spiritual being sees when they look. This is about Shakti. It ain't about you or you or you or the weather or anything like that. I decided what I liked. When it starts happening, I open up so I feel Shakti. I decided what I don't like. When it starts happening, I close down because I'm scared. I feel no Shakti. That's why the outside world can affect how you're doing. That's all. It's very simple. Change what you like, you'll change what opens you up. It's so simple. You did that. Your mind defined the gateways of what will open you up or close you based on what it likes or doesn't like. And so when the world unfolds, it is now opening and closing you. But it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't stay there and it doesn't work. So now you go behind the whole thing, back to the core of your being, and you just be quiet. And you just say, Shakti, no Shakti. That's it. And you just realize it's that simple. It's not complicated. There's not the tens of billions of things that you need to worry about. It's just either Shakti or no Shakti. If I have Shakti, I'm fine. So now I have to see why Shakti, why no Shakti. I've been through this with you. This is where a conscious being lives. They are in here watching this all day, seeing how the world, the dance of the world, affects the dance of the Shakti inside. Not going out there to change it, just watching, so they can learn about the laws of what is governing the state of my being. So once you've seen that your mind is doing it, telling you your mind is doing it, when you get what your mind says it likes, you open and you feel Shakti. When you get what your mind says it doesn't like, you close and you get very, very upset. So you realize the mind is doing this. I don't want to play that game anymore. So I watch this. And ultimately what you want to see is there's a door to the energy. I'm going to really go deep with you. When you see there's a door, when it's open, the energy flows. The door is deep inside of you. When it's closed, the energy doesn't flow. I do not want to learn how to open the door. That is not what a great being, a great yogi is learning. I want there not to be a door. I want there not to be a door. Why do I want a door? When it's closed, I'm no good. When it's open, I'm good. Why do I want a door? Why would I ever want it to be able to close? I don't want there to be a door. That's a whole, you're reaching for the door handle. The yogi's reaching for the hinges. I'm taking this thing off. I have no use for a door. None. Why would I have a use for a door? Well, there need to be times I don't want to be okay. No. There's no list at any time that I don't want to be okay. Therefore, I have no use for a door. This is real spirituality. It comes down to closing, not closing. Doesn't it? If that's what lets the Shakti flow and not, it comes down to closing or not closing. So once you go there, you immediately commit to yourself not closing. Not closing. Ever. Why would I? Well, the situation warranted it. No, I don't think so. I want it to be okay. Therefore, the only thing that warrants closing is wanting to not be okay. You get right down to simple stuff, right? I want to always be okay. How about you? I tell you, let's get straight what I want. I want that the highest state that could possibly be going on inside, ever new, constantly renewing itself at all times and never stopping and getting higher each time, each day for the rest of my life. Would you like that? Why not? A nice thing to have, right? Now I'll go out and play with the world. There is no desire, there is no need, there is no anything. I'm already completely fulfilled. Now let's dance. You're always okay. There's not a single problem. My burden is light. Now you understand how your burden gets light. Because you have none. Because you are okay. Because you're in a state of total well-being, as Christ was, as Buddha was. So this is where you're going. You're going to end up getting what everybody else will never get, but they're trying to get, and don't tell me you renounced anything. You didn't renounce anything. You just learned how to get it. So you start realizing, I now see, I know how to be okay. Don't close. Whoa, it didn't sound anything like get married. It didn't sound like get a new car. No, don't close. Because closing blocks the Shakti. And so you start working with yourself. You start realizing, well, how could I not close? Don't close. Realize that what you want is that Shakti flow. And if that's what you want, then why would you close? There, that's the only logic I can give you. But she said something mean, okay? So here we got two things. She said something mean, but you're feeling ecstasy. Or she said something mean and you close and you feel terrible. Your choice. Your choice all the time. So can I stay open when she says something mean? Of course. Open is a state inside of you. She's outside. You're the one who tied them together. You tied them together. You said, no, it's not okay if she said something mean to me. That person hates your guts. She hates your guts. She says, tell everyone that she sees. She just thinks you're the most terrible person, the most vile person that ever lived. She tells every single person to listen to it. That's the scenario. Like they just completely hate your guts for whatever reason. Is that okay? I hope you say yes. Otherwise you won't be okay. You're the one who's deciding you won't be okay with that. If they want to do that, that's their business. Maybe it's fun. It's cute. It's fun to have people hate you. Here's the list of all the people who hate me. It's like, it's whatever you want. There's no law that says it has to close you. Is there? Where's the law? Show me. Your mind said it. Because your mind said, I'm not okay. The way I be okay is for people to like me. Therefore, this person is interfering with that. Not only are they not liking me, they're trying to get other people not to like me. Therefore, I'll never be okay. That's the logic your mind used. Here's the logic that a great being's mind uses. I'm okay as long as I stay open. That's the end of it. I don't have to go any further, do I? I'm okay as long as I stay open. Therefore, do I want to close because of what she's doing? No. We're both trying to be okay, but my way works. You have this right. It's your heart. It's your openness. It's your Shakti flow. It will be whatever you decide it will be. You see, it's not about right and wrong. It's about does it work or not. And so a great being only follows the path that works. And the path that works is, I will not close. Period. Ever. Ever. That's what I'm going to work with. I will not close. And your mind will fight you, and you will see that. Your mind will fight you because it is in the habit of closing over the things it doesn't like. It's in the habit. I close if I can't get what I want, and I close if I have to get what I don't want. The yogi gives up on that. I'm not going to play that game anymore. My mind might still play it, but I'm not going to play it with it. I'm not putting my heart into that. Instead of playing the game of I'm only okay if I get what I want and I'm not okay if I don't get what I want, I'm playing the game of I'm always okay as long as I don't close. And guess what? I am. I'm always okay as long as I don't close. Because then I get Shakti. Then I get energy. And that's all I want is that energy. And so now you're playing a whole different game than everybody else. Third Zen patriarch. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. That may have not made any sense to you before. Does it make sense to you now? One of the greatest writings that was ever written in any tradition. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. In other words, I'm not going to play this game of what I want and what I don't want. So you're not going to get anything. No. I'm going to get everything. The only way you got that Shakti flow is when you got what you wanted. And then it went away when you had to have what you didn't want. I'm getting that Shakti flow by not playing that game. I just went right down to the source and said, open says me. And don't close. And now I have to go through this process of unlearning what I learned. You know what I learned? How to close. That is what you learn. I'm going to close if things are not the way I want, and I'm going to close if things are the way I don't want. That's what you do. You have to unlearn that. How? That's your business. Work with it. Techniques. Ultimately, you will see the process start. Don't do it. It'll start to complain that something's not the way you want. I'll never be happy. He's doing this. He's going out with somebody else. Oh my God. Right? There you go. You just very quietly say, I'll never be happy if I listen to you. That's the size of that. Because I can't control everybody else. I can't do everything, right? So I ain't going to be happy if I listen to you, so I ain't listening to you. He'll throw a tantrum. And you try not to close. And ultimately, I've taught you the highest technique. You're in there. You see the part of your being that's not okay, and you respect that. This is what's been running my life. This is what's been underneath everything. Wow, look at it. How powerful it is. How strong it is. That's the attitude of the self looking at that. Now you will see that circumstances in your life stimulate your old patterns of this is how I need it to be okay. That's how I need it not to be or I'm going to be worse. You see these patterns. I'm not going with those patterns. How? Relax. That's what it boils down to. When it's all said and done, you see it and you relax behind it. You just relax. Well, how can I relax if I'm not getting what I want? Because you don't believe that getting what you want is what you really want. There's something deeper going on, which is I want to take the door off its hinges. I don't want you controlling my door by how you dress and who you talk. Do you understand that? I don't want a door. Now I'll deal with you with great love, great joy. Do whatever you want because I love you anyway. You understand that? I don't need you to be okay. Doesn't mean I don't share my life with you. Do you see the difference? I'm fine. So net result is You come in here and you relax in the face of this process. You just keep relaxing. Just keep relaxing. And what you will do is find yourself in the presence of the door, and you'll see it opening and closing. And you now relax. When it's open, you relax. When it's closed, you relax. And by not going with the process, that door will fade away. And you will start to feel all this energy come up inside of you for no reason. A bird will take off. You'll get rushes of energy. Your breeze will blow across your face. You'll get rushes of energy. You'll see something so beautiful, a rush of energy. You'll see an ugly fruit in the supermarket, and it's so ugly, and you'll get rushes of energy. Everything. Why? Because you're starting to be an open being. It doesn't require how you want it to be. There's a mean person. There's a nice person. Wow. Far out. Just anything. Somebody says hello to you. Somebody doesn't say hello to you. Your mind says something nice. Your mind says something mean. Your mind likes something. Your mind doesn't like something. They're just things in the universe, all of which blow you away. Now you're done. Got you there, didn't I? That's done, isn't it? You're done. You're open. Nothing, even your own mind, can't close you. Your heart starts to hurt because of what somebody did. It's a beautiful thing that you have a heart. And even the human heart is so sensitive. And you just see it, and you feel compassion for it. You feel love for it. And everything that happens pushes you back into Shakti, into that state of ecstasy, into a state of joy. And there's nothing to worry about because everything blows you away. What's the difference? And even your own thoughts can't bother you. If your thought says something terrible, oh my God, I can't live without this. You look at it and you feel, I used to listen to you. Wow, look at you. And now you just come and go. You're beautiful. Everything's beautiful and everything throws you into Shakti. Now what is there for you to do? Nothing. Because all of doership was about trying to be okay. Now you are okay. You are okay. That's where I want you. And then life gave you the present of bringing situations in front of you that were beyond anything that you ever thought you could ever handle. And you're fine. And now you know that nothing will ever take away your okayness, ever, for eternity. You're getting pretty done, aren't you? What happens to the life of a being who's done? Maybe they get married. Maybe they have children. Maybe they're rich. Maybe they help people. Maybe they don't. I don't know. Life unfolds. It won't stop unfolding because you're done manipulating it and destroying it and beating it up. It is basically, life will continue to unfold, except that you will be there with it, serving it, loving it, giving, being, instead of grabbing, taking, fighting. But the same life will unfold, all right? The truth of the matter is, as hard as you've tried to change life, you haven't done so good, have you? It still continues to unfold. This is what Lao Tzu meant by the Tao. The life that unfolds naturally, without you trying to make it be your life, because you're fine. You don't need it to be your life. You're filled with everything you ever wanted. Life will unfold. You will serve it. Why? Why not? It's what's in front of you. Why did you eat pancakes? Because they were there. Well, why didn't you eat waffles? They weren't. That's too simple, isn't it? No, it's pretty straightforward, all right? And that's the scenario. And you will just work with life, and that's the Tao. That's what Lao Tzu meant by the Tao. Just the natural unfolding of the harmony of you and life, because there's nothing going else than that. That is what done means. You are done, and you are in a very, very great state. It is higher than anything that anyone can ever give to anybody, is the fact that you are done, and that light will shine off of you and out of you. What light? The light that you are now living in. All right? The Shakti that is rushing up inside of you. You know how they say a bride is always beautiful? You're the bride at all times. It is the highest moment of your life every second, and it just glows off of you. Okay. So, if I had to talk about being done, that's what I would say. Contemplate those things. Jagrative.